Hello and welcome to the British Sitcom History Podcast. As always, I am Gareth and I'm joined by Alan.
Hello.
And you are joining us for the second half of our look at Man About the House. If you haven't seen the first half, it probably makes sense to go back and have a look at that. We are talking about a specific episode of Man About the House. It's Series 5, Episode 6, Come Fly With Me. And we've already talked about Sally Tomczyk. We've already talked about Paula Wilcox. We've already talked about the writers. So, as I say, if you haven't already seen Episode 1, maybe go back and have a look at that. But we are now going to get back into our episode. Just to remind you what was happening in our episode. It's George and Mildred's anniversary. George has forgotten. So, in order to surprise Mildred, he's going to get her a new budgie, which she'll be delighted about. What's the other plot that's happening, Alan?
Well, Chrissy, having done a bit of extra work for her boss, was given a bonus of 2 tickets to see Frank Sinatra, and then there was a bit of competition between Joe and Robin to who should have the tickets because Chrissy doesn't want them, and so now we're at a point of that. Where she still hasn't given them away, and
no, she's still making Robin dance to like a monkey to get these tickets.
She's making Robin be nice.
We'll get back into our episode, into part 2, and actually we've got George and Mildred first of all. Do you want to play the clip?
Well, this is this is an ITV show, so this is after the break, and so good script writing here. Just re-establish the plot. What's going on? Let's have a look.
No, it's all right. I've got your anniversary present.
George! Oh, lovely. Ah, you shouldn't have.
Hey?
Well, give me a bit of a clue. What colour is it?
Oh, it's yellow.
Yellow. You mean like gold?
Well, sort of.
And would it by any chance go on my finger?
Well, it might, with a bit of encouragement.
That's a good one. So you know, George, she thinks she's getting a lovely ring for her anniversary, and of course we know it's a bloody budgie.
Yes, but so does George. Why is he setting her up for a fall here?
Yeah. Why isn't he managing expectations downwards here?
But it does seem like, just from a character point of view, he's blissfully unaware. He's not like trying to big it up. So
he thinks this is a great present. He thinks she's going to be delighted. He's not a clue. He has absolutely no empathy for the absolute misery that his wife is living.
This is good writing, I think. We've got these 2 very distinct plots that are merging, and the 2 kind of families, so to speak, in our house. So it's nice stuff, and that starts here with Joe coming downstairs.
She's come to get some birdseed because they've got the surprise budgie in a shoebox upstairs, and they need to feed it. Budgie's going to starve to death, so she's come down for some birdseed. But she didn't realise Mildred was there, and so she's trying not to give the game away. And I can't remember exactly how it plays out, but basically George has to eat some birdseed.
Yeah, it's good stuff, isn't it? It's all fine.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So we come back upstairs. That's the punchline to the scene. George has got birdseed in his mouth, and we all laughed. The next one, we go back upstairs, and we got Robin and Chrissy with the shoebox.
And so there's a budgie in the shoebox, we're told, but we don't have to be told because they actually get the budgie out.
This amazed me, right? So we've been looking at this shoebox for the last 10 minutes. And you know, it's just a white shoebox, like, you know, apparently there's a budgie in there, whatever. And then suddenly the bloody budgie comes out. They actually produce a live budgie on set.
Yeah, I've got a clip. Let's see, because it's just the absolute nightmare of having a budgie on set.
Yeah, like, it's a real bird. I slowed it down and had a look. It's a real bird.
Oh yeah, this isn't Faulty Towers. It's the real thing.
Well, I was going to say they should have taken a leaf out of Faulty Towers book.
Let's have a look at it.
Come on then, you. Come on then. Come on. Oh, oops. Come on. Hang on. Come on.
You'd like, because he's just making sure he's got a really good grip on it.
Hold it gently.
I always do hold birds gently. I'm known for it.
Oh, isn't she sweet?
Yes. Come on, little one.
And there's a close-up there, live, you know, in-camera close-up. They're not messing about. They're doing it.
It's very brave, Minister. Very brave.
It is. You know what? Because just the slightest, you know, loosening of the fingers and it's gone. You're never going to get it back.
Yeah. We get a nice bit of physical comedy now. So essentially, George and Mildred appear. Mildred's not got to see the bird, so Robin quickly stashes it in his shirt, and we get a nice bit of physical comedy. Have you got a clip of that? We can watch that.
I have, and what I'd also like you to note here is this clip is going to start with Richard O'Sullivan holding the budgie, and it's in his hand, it's real. And then just see if you can spot the edit point where it cuts back to him and he's got an empty hand, but he's pretending. It's actually like I'm pointing it out, but it's actually very nicely done, and his acting of it is pretty good stuff. So let's have a look at that.
Excuse me, dears.
Okay.
Thought you might like an apple pie for afters.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Homemade? Of course, Mr. Trippett won't be nearly as good as yours.
No.
So he's put the bird in his shirt to hide it.
It's a bit Rod Hall, isn't it?
Very good.
Well, you see, I'm not the
It's good stuff. It's making me laugh.
I'm not the world's best cook. Oh, I wouldn't say that.
And it's getting a lovely response from the audience as well.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It's great stuff. It's
getting a lovely response from me, Alan. That made me laugh the first time, and it made me laugh again then. It's great. Good stuff. He doesn't overdo it. He doesn't over-egg it. This is a good example of Richard O'Sullivan's acting chops. He's very good with the physical comedy. We've already said charm. He's got so much charisma. He's so charming. Even when he's, a bit of a loser, we're on his side. We never side against him. He is absolutely our man. He's charming.
Yeah, and I think the physical comedy is really good as well. It's a big part of it, and I think most of that falls on Richard O'Sullivan, and they take it pretty easy. It's not like a David Croft show. It isn't keeping up appearances. It's pretty straight down the line, real stuff. In fact, I've got an example here from later on in the series, just an example of Richard O'Sullivan really just he's not holding back. He's like, okay, if we're going to do this, let's do it big. And it's a nice bit. And what I love about this clip as well is like the audience are ahead of it. Like they see what's going to happen. It's pretty obvious and it still pays off.
Go on,
so let's have a look at this clip.
Do you want to see the cake? Really? What cake? The cake! It's fabulous. It should be hung up and framed in the National Gallery. I'll show you.
A bit of drunk
Spoonerism, I don't like spoonerisms.
It's true what they say, Smoking's bad for your knees.
I'll bring it in here.
All right. So for any audio listeners, Robin comes in holding a great big wedding cake and then falls over the prostrate Larry and just really hammers into the floor and like the cake lands on his arm. Like the sort of thing you could easily get hurt doing, but he just goes for it. Absolutely goes for it.
Do you remember that? I'm reminded of that bicycle crash in Roll Over Beethoven. Do you remember that? It's the worst bicycle crash ever committed to film. This is the opposite of that. O'Sullivan is absolutely committing.
Yes.
Exactly tell me a bit about Richard O'Sullivan then, Alan. I know that he was a child actor, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Fascinating background of Richard O'Sullivan, I think. Yeah. Not just a child actor, but an extremely productive child actor. He, I think he was just like got into drama as a kid as a bit of fun, as you do, but got spotted somewhere along the line. His first major film appearance was in a film called The Stranger's Hand when he was 9 years old. But I've got a clip actually for you here when he was a teenager. In Carry On Teacher. Now, Carry On Teacher is the third Carry On film.
We'll have that.
Yeah, I just happened to watch it the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Richard O'Sullivan's in this. I'll have a bit of that." So I took a clip for it, and he's one of the kids. Like basically the concept of Carry On Teacher is our regulars are the teachers, and the kids are hectic and causing all sorts of problems. And he's one of the main kids who's like the ringleader of all this sabotage. And he's young. He's about 14 or something here, but he's playing younger. Like he looks younger. He's got a bit of a baby face. So let's have a little clip of him here.
Now, what's all this about?
Well, sir, I was lacking about in maths lessons, and Miss Short said if I went on, she'd send me to you, and I went on and she sent me, and here I am. Sir.
Now, I was just wanted to show how young he looks, but I like that clip because it's got Robin energy, like the way he's
definitely
talking and the intonation. He's
what
very
I thought
much there.
what my initial impression of that was, he doesn't seem like a child actor. He doesn't seem like a stage schooly child actor. Do you know what I mean? It felt good. It was good.
He was 5 years into a screen career by then. Like, he was experienced. Like, no messing about. He knew what he was doing, and I think right from a young age he was considered a really strong actor. And he's also in he's in The Young Ones, as in the Cliff Richard film, not the sitcom.
And Melvin Hayes is in that, isn't he? I remember Melvin Hayes being in that. Yes,
Melvin Hayes. And in fact, because of those couple of sitcom connections, I do want to look at The Young Ones in more detail. And now, of course, because in our sort of new video format and our new relaunch of the podcast, we're also going on to Patreon and all that sort of stuff. So
that's an organic plug.
So
that's what we call
that. So if you search for us on Patreon, you'll find us. We'll give that a bit of a better plug later on. But ultimately, what the Patreon we're going to offer is an extra episode just for Patreons every month. So 1 episode a month, which will look at something that is not a sitcom, but so we can't do it on the show, but is kind of closely related in some way, be it a film.
We were going to call it a spin-off, weren't we?
Yeah, but it's just stuff that we are related and we want to look at in a bit of detail. So I thought The Young Ones would be a really good one. It ties in with Richard O'Sullivan that we're doing here. We've got Melvin Hayes as well. Plus, I just think it's a lovely bit of British history, that kind of Cliff Richard films, and I don't know much about it. So I'm kind of interested about that. Yeah, but he was a teenager in that as well. He's a young teenager in that. He was, did an episode of Ronnie Barker's Playhouse, and that was interesting because that episode was written by Cook and Mortimer, who are the writers of Man About the House, of course. Okay. And in fact, the episode he was in, I haven't managed to find it, but the episode he was in was called The Incredible Mr. Tanner. Now, if you can remember, last week I mentioned that they did a 1-series show with Brian Murphy called The Incredible Mr. Tanner.
Yes. I remember.
That was obviously like a pilot that they did with Ronnie Barker, and then some years later, it's quite a lot of years later, they went, well, let's revive that, and they put Brian Murphy in it. But anyway, that original sort of pilot, so to speak, Richard O'Sullivan was in it. So he'd worked with Cook and Mortimer before. They put him in All Cock and Gander, which we talked about last week. But this that didn't really pan out to be much. But then this was a big success. He also took a regular role in Doctor at Large.
Yes.
So you remember the Doctor series?
Yes.
And he was in that, and then he was in Doctor in Charge as well, with George Layton. And I'll mention George Layton again in just a moment. But George Layton was involved with the Doctor series quite considerably as an actor and a writer, I believe, and director, I think. Anyway, after Man About the House, he did Robin's Nest, as we know. That was a direct spin-off. It's the same character.
That's the whole 70s, really, isn't it? Man About the House and Robin's Nest that's the decade, really.
Yeah, Robin's Nest ran till 1981. Also in the late, I wonder if you remember, you're probably just a bit too young for this, but in the late 70s, he was the lead in Dick Turpin, which was...
Ooh, that's ringing a really quiet bell.
It's not a sitcom, it's an action series, but it was a very light-hearted, kids-friendly action series.
Do you know what? I'm telling you what, I do remember, forgive a tangent for a moment, I do remember Robin of Sherwood, and that will have been a similar, in the same Sunday afternoon type of family viewing bracket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he was regularly working, and his next series was Me and My Girl in the 80s.
I do.
And it was about it's a widowed man, and he's living with his adult daughter now. And that ran for a good few years. It's not really the one. It's not the sort of show that gets repeated all the time and has stood the test of time, all that sort of thing. But it was a successful show in its moment. His last, what we'd call regular role, was Trouble in Mind. It was about a psychiatrist who's suffering a midlife crisis. Right, that's kind of the concept. It did 1 series, didn't do much business. And that's it, really. And bear in mind, he would have been late 40s at that point.
Very
now. I don't know the full story here. I do know, like in my head, so like before I started looking a bit more research, I knew that Richard O'Sullivan had a stroke at a relatively young age and has basically been in a care home since then. Now, but when I actually looked it up, that happened in 2003. So it already basically not been working for 10 years when that happened. So I thought that is why he retired relatively young. But that is not the case. And I honestly, I don't know. I haven't got the details here. It feels like there's an untold story somewhere where he stopped working. And I don't want to speculate because obviously whatever it is, he's not made it public. And it could be anything. I don't want to make anything. My point is that it's not because he had a lack of talent / lack of charm. He still had all that personality. And if you see him in Me and My Girl or Trouble in Mind, he's graying and he's kind of got into this nice father figure role, and he plays it just as well as he plays a chirpy young man. He still had the skill. He still had the charm. So that's not what was stopping his career. I think he made a choice.
And it's not like he had a bomb. It's not like there was a colossal failure and he became toxic. You know,
no. And like even if there was a slow trail off or he was doing panto or whatever, but he there was obviously some choice to stop. And the fact that he had a stroke when he was 59, perhaps there's some medical issue before that. I don't know. And like I say, I know there's no reason to speculate, but I think it's a shame we didn't get more of him. Here's a picture of him now for those watching. This is a relatively recent picture with George Layton, who they seem to be really good friends with. Any pictures you see of Richard O'Sullivan these days, it's George Layton and Robin Asquith are in them. They seem to be the ones that go down and pal up with him. But also, he's in the care home for the showbiz elderly.
Yeah, right? It's like a special pantomime showbiz retirement home, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Which seems like a good place to be.
Anything else on Richard O'Sullivan?
Nothing specific. I'm a big fan. I really like him. I think he's got a real charm.
So the thing is, I remember Me and My Girl as a kid. I remember liking that. I can't really tell you much about it, but I remember it being a nice thing that I liked watching. And I think in hindsight, you know, he was charming. You know, it was a good screen presence. He was enjoyable to watch, and certainly having sat and watched umpteen episodes of Man About the House, I really like him. I really like the guy.
Yeah, and I think it's quite central to the success of the show as well. It is a really well-written show, and I'm not taking anything away from that, but particularly him and Paula Wilcox, I think, make it. And then, of course, you've got Eutha Joyce and Brian Murphy they were a bit of a breakout as well. Like, that wasn't particularly expected, but I think there's a difference. They're doing sitcom acting, and Richard O'Sullivan and Paula Wilcox are like, you could put them in a drama, it'll work just as well. It's just light-hearted stuff. It's lovely.
Let's go back to our episode. I was trying to figure out what the setup here is, because I originally thought George and Mildred were the landlords, but they're not.
Right,
we find out that they're living in church commissioner's property. Do you know what that is? I've done the research.
Only vaguely, and I'd appreciate if you explained it to me, because I think what I got from it is George is kind of, he's not the landlord as in he owns the house, but he's kind of the live-in caretaker / landlord. So he probably gets paid something or a reduction on their rent or whatever it is. He's the live-in landlord. But what is the church commissioners?
That's exactly it. You got it right. Yeah. So the church commissioners the church commissioners was formed after the war. But it is the latest manifestation of how the Church of England owned land. So, back before Henry VIII, the Catholic Church just owned a boatload of land. They had monasteries all over the place. Henry VIII broke a lot of that up. But, all the church land went to the Church of England. And like I said, that's the way that has been administered over the centuries has changed. But in 1948, the Church Commissioners was created. And essentially, it's an investment vehicle. That's what it is. So it is primarily a landowner. I found out that they own 10% of the Metro Centre in Gateshead, which is quite good. But they also own Hyde Park Estate in Paddington, and that's where we are. That's where they live. They live in St John's Wood near Paddington. I know this because in the film we see a street sign. They live on Middleton Terrace, which is a fictional street that doesn't exist, but it's in Northwest 8, St John's Wood, and so we can get an idea of exactly where they are. And that St John's Wood, for those of you who don't live in London, is it's pretty exclusive area nowadays, isn't it?
Nice, yeah, very nice.
Yeah, so I think it would, it might not have been quite as exclusive then, but £7.50 a week is it's pretty good, even if you have got to share with Sally Thompson.
I couldn't share a bedroom.
No,
with someone. I struggle to share a flat with someone, but that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how you'd manage that. Anyway, last stat, because I've done the research. In 2020, the Church Commissioner's portfolio was valued at £9.2 billion. It's the 13th largest landowner in the UK. Wow. And you think, wow, okay. But then actually, I thought about it. Well, hang on a minute. Who owns more? Like, who are the 12 largest landowners? But I didn't get into that.
The Duchy of Cornwall.
Yeah.
One of them,
the Duke of Westminster famously owns loads of property in London, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was quite interesting. The Church Commissioners still a thing, still going.
Interesting.
But they're charging more rent now. So let's get back to Chrissy and Joe in bed. And Robin comes in with coffee and toast for Chrissy, not for Joe, because he's still trying to get around her. He's still trying to get these tickets.
He wants the Frank Sinatra tickets. And unknown to him, Chrissy has already decided she's going to give them one each. And so she's already given one ticket to Joe.
Yeah.
And so, Robin's crawling. And
so that it makes a handbrake turn to look after Joe, takes the toast off Chrissy and gives it to her.
Well, Chrissy finally relents and gives him the ticket and then reveals that Joe has the other one. So now he's got to butter up Joe. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And he butters up the toast. Did you notice? I'll tell you something that jarred for me. He's putting Marmite on her toast. And I can't explain this, but I thought Marmite was quite a new thing. And then you look at the jar and you're like, no, this jar is like designed in the 1920s. You know the thing, you love it or you hate it. That was only 1996. That was when it became axiomatically divisive.
I guess that's pretty much my entire life, so that's why I've heard it.
No, but I remember, I don't know, this is why I think in my head Marmite's a new thing, because I just remember it suddenly being everywhere. I remember that marketing campaign, and that's what's happening in my head, I think.
What is the earliest sitcom reference of Marmite? We're on 1975 at the moment. Let's see if we can.
Well, like I say,
if you know of a Marmite reference, email us.
It's still made in Burton-on-Trent, by the way. It might be owned by Unilever, but it's still made in the same place. Still a local business, really.
Do you know what's funny about Marmite though? Like, I honestly, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah, me too. It's all right. I quite like it.
It's all right, but I don't like buy it.
But what a great marketing campaign! It is axiomatic. People will say, "Oh, he's a bit Marmite." You'll have the love of my like. That is a thing that people say.
Off.
Great marketing campaign. That's right. You got to give credit where credit's due. Unilever know how to spend their money. Okay, so let's go back to the flat.
Yes.
And Larry arrives, doesn't he? Larry arrives to talk to Robin. He's wearing an Oxford University sweater, like a bright yellow jumper.
Well, he wears that regularly. It's a regular part of his character. But it's just like, his obviously,
character. That's a good
Larry.
word.
And Larry is not, but is it part of his kind of thing where he's kind of, maybe he's used it to pick up girls and like pretend to be?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. When you said it's part of his character, it's part of the character that Larry portrays when he's lying to women to get them into bed.
Yes. But here's an interesting fact I found out about Doug Fisher, who was the actor who plays him. He went to Oxford.
What?
That may well be his jumper. I know the voice doesn't like. Well, this does give me an opportunity, Gareth. This does give me an opportunity to play this.
They've all been to Oxford University, wherever that is.
I've got sound drops, Gareth. It's all part of our new.
Well, so Doug Fisher went to Oxford University, wherever that is. So tell me a bit about the actor.
Doug Fisher. Well, in terms of his early life, he went to Oxford University. That's what we know. And here's an interesting thing. He would have graduated. He was born in 1941. He graduated in 1966, and he studied Russian. And of course, he's an actor. So MI6, are you thinking? It's definitely. I think he may have been a spy, and we're never going to find out about it. But that's completely
speculation. That's wild speculation.
There's absolutely no evidence for that whatsoever. But yeah, started out in the mid '60s really, and did sketch shows and all that. He worked regularly with Roy Hood, and other kind of comedy staples of the time. But like this is his most major regular sitcom role. But if you look through his career in the 70s and 80s, he's guesting in sitcoms quite regularly. He was in an episode of The Other One and a couple of episodes of Sorry that we watched. So, just in terms of things we've looked at before. But yeah, it's just, I guess he's not got that face that really jumps out, and he tends to play just like blokes. So, he was a semi-regular in London's Burning. I don't know if that takes you back to your time.
Oh, interesting. Years. I never really watched that. It was quite big when I was a kid, but I never really got into it.
And frankly, he had a heart attack at 58 and died. That was in the year 2000, so he died relatively young. But he was like a nice little character actor who would come in and play a blokey bloke if you needed it. He had a big Cockney accent.
Well, he did have a big Cockney accent. I've already said in the start of our episode, we get a little bit of back and forth with him and Robin mimics his Cockney accent. So is that Doug Fisher's real accent? Surely not. Surely he's got an Oxbridge accent.
I don't know. Maybe he worked hard and just a cheeky Cockney chappie who got to Oxford University. Who knows? What
do you think of his? We'll talk about the character of Larry in a minute. But what do you think of his performance? I saw quite. He does a good job, but he overacts a bit. There's a bit where there's a bit of knuckle chewing.
I like him. I think he's a contrast to Robin, particularly. But I think I think it's all well within sitcom acting, and I do think that what we get from Robin and Chrissy is a little bit more low key, and so the others like George and Mildred are much more sitcom-y. But I think because Larry sort of interacts with them much more directly. But I think he's doing a fine job here. I think what he's doing is perfectly within world.
But the thing is, if you look at Larry as a character, he is a liar. He's predatory. He's a thief. And everybody around him knows all of these things, and yet he's still allowed to hang around because he's quite charming as well.
He's a nice guy, yeah. I'll give you a little clip that I think shows Larry's behaviour quite well. Have a look at this.
Now then, where was I?
You were going to show me how to strip down an engine.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, well, for the purpose of this demonstration, let's assume that you are an engine.
Oh.
And further to that, let's also assume that you've got twin wankles.
What are they?
Well, they're sort of, and they go around in opposite directions. Anyway, now the first thing we do is we remove the spark plugs.
Here, stop that! I'm a decent girl.
What?
I'm a decent girl.
You can't be.
So the premise there is obviously he's lying about what he does and trying to get this. He's already in the bedroom. He's trying to get this girl in undressed, and he's shocked that she's not up for it because she's a bit of a munter.
She's coded ugly. That's the phrase that we use.
Yeah, she's dressed dowdily, and in the sitcom world, and I believe in the setup for that scene, he's already said like obviously she'll take what she can get. So that sort of sums up Larry pretty well, I think.
Did you? I'm sorry to be distracted by boobs, but did you notice the poster behind? There was a topless woman in the poster behind in that scene. I was saying earlier there was nothing explicit. That was explicit.
Yeah, and that's Larry's bedroom. That's Larry's attic room in the house.
I'm not surprised that Larry's got a topless poster. I'm surprised that it went out on ITV.
Can we go back to our scene? Because we've got a nice little bit here where we're going to have a kind of dramatic moment with our budgie. Yeah. But what I really like in the setup to this scene, there's a lovely moment where Robin is gone to give the girls breakfast, and then he comes in, the doorbell rings, and we know it's Larry. He comes out, and he just takes a moment there's a shoebox on the arm, on the chair of the arm with the budgie in it. And he just goes speak to it and goes, "Oh, I'll get you your breakfast in a moment." Now it just reaffirms for us that is where the budgie is in the scene and just telling us all what it is. sets that up nicely. It's going to pay off in a second. But it feels very natural. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like a slow zoom into the shoebox or anything like that.
Yes.
Lovely bit of work, and as usual, Richard O'Sullivan pulls it off beautifully. And then we go. He goes and opens the door to Larry, he's trying to Chrissy as well. Now I've got a clip here to see what happens, but it's a lovely bit of comic business. So let's have a look.
Is she up yet?
No, she's not.
Oh well, with your permission, I'll just sit and wait.
He sits
on the box.
Yes. Inadvertently, of course, he sits on the armchair and there's a box there that he hasn't seen. And we get a lovely bit of facial reaction there from Robin.
Yeah. What I like about this now, so we've got this whole thing where they think they've killed the budgie. And so what you do, I mean, what would you do? Would you open the box and take a look? No. What they do is they have a listen. Can we hear it breathing? No. But
to be fair, they know they should open the box, but they really can't bring themselves to do it because it would be grotesque. So,
but then unfortunately, George arrives. George comes into the flat just as they're about to reveal.
Yes, and so they have to tell him that. Yes, sorry, we just sat on the budgie. He's appalled, obviously, and he opens the box to have a look at this dead budgie, of course. And the budgie isn't there.
It's not there. It's not there. So basically what's happened is Chrissy has snuck in, not deliberately, but she's let the budgie loose in the bathroom. Oh, thank goodness for that. The budgie's safe. But then we found out that Joe opened the window and the budgie's escaped. So we had salvation in our hands and the budgie is gone once more.
But that's a problem for George because that was his anniversary present for Mildred, which she was going to love and cherish forever. And now he hasn't got an anniversary present. He's in trouble.
Can I just tell you, there's a really good joke that I really loved. Oh, Mr. Roper, you're overwrought. You better sit down. And Larry says, yeah, pull up a budgie.
Too soon.
That's a good throwaway. But in order to assuage poor George, then Chrissy gives him the Sinatra tickets so that George and Mildred get to go to see Frank Sinatra and not Joe and Robin.
Now, George here has been given an absolute gift. Figuratively and literally, because he's got a great anniversary present. Mildred is happy. So how is he going to mess it up, Gareth? He's got to do something, surely. Because it's
what's that? What's that chirping I hear outside in the window? In the tree? He sees the budgie. It's in the tree outside.
Yes, the escaped budgie is in the tree, and so he decides he's going to have to go and catch it. Of course, the budgie comes first as instead of Mildred. And so, the kind of the end of our episode really is him ruining the Frank Sinatra concert because they can't go. They're late and they're late and they're late, and then he's just trying to catch this bird. And then just through a bit of physical comedy, he drops birdseed all over Mildred's head.
And wrap. That's the end of the episode. Can we just, before we finish the episode, can we just point out Mildred is a rhapsody in purple. She's got this purple trouser suit on. It's incredible.
Honestly, the things that Mildred wears are pretty outrageous. It's a great character trait. And I believe that earlier in this episode we saw Mildred wearing tight jeans with bananas all over them. Really reckless. And apparently, just using that as an example, Eutha Joyce found those trousers and basically brought them in and was like, I found these trousers. They're absolutely disgusting. They're going to be amazing. So I think she had a hand in some of that as well.
I want to talk a little bit about what happens next, how the series plays out. But can we talk about the closing credits? I really like the closing credits. So basically, the closing credits are, we're playing the music, and then it's just the cast list, a series of still cards with some graphics, and the graphics are very Man About the House. Look at this. So the first thing, we've got the writers, and we've got on a washing line 2 pairs of knickers and a pair of wide fronts. These are our characters, you see?
2 ladies and a boy. That's what we're doing.
So which I don't want to be vulgar, but the ones on the right, the little pair of knickers with hearts on them, that's Joe, innit?
Yeah, Chris is much more sensible.
Chrissy's got sensible pants, big pants. Oh, go on, what's the next one? So we got 2 badminton rackets and a football. So I love this. So are we saying here that football is male, badminton is female? Is that what we're saying?
It's that in terms of the logic of these pictures. Yes, that is what we're saying. Yeah,
it is. Go on. What's next?
In badminton, you can play badminton without even getting a sweat on. So I guess that's quite.
Oh, here you go. So some toys. We've got 2 dolls. That's a girl's toy, and a toy soldier. Yeah. That's a boy's toy. So we have we've got proper gender stereotypes here. Now, okay,
this is a fascinating one.
we've got what looks like a sort of pink slipper and a green shoe with a heel on it. They're very clearly girls,
definitely girls.
But then there's this brown boot, which I mean, I wouldn't wear that, Alan. It's got a massive Cuban heel on it. Are we supposed to believe that's Robin's shoe?
Well, it's certainly a man's shoe. I don't know if Robin would wear that sort of thing. Well, it's in the logic of these pictures, it is a man's shoe, but it's a very 70s thing.
I'd rather wear the pink slipper.
Okay, what have we got?
What else we got? Okay, so this is amazing. So we've got some knitting, and then we've got the A to Z of sex, right? So the knitting's obviously the girls. Boys don't knit. That's crazy talk. So the A to Z of sex, is that just like what every bloke has on his bookshelf?
That's Robin's book, isn't it? Yeah, because they're always thinking about sex. That's it.
Well, they're thinking about it, but do they have a library?
Let's see what comes up next. Here we go.
Oh, amazing! What is this? Right, so we've got carrots and we've got 2 strawberry sundaes. Now, I guess you could argue that the strawberry sundae is a bit of an effeminate dessert, but that's a carrot. Yeah. Like, that's not a dessert. It's phallic. Is that what we're doing here? Is just the same shape as a penis? Is that what this is?
I don't know, because it's not even the same type of food. It's not related.
No, I don't get this one
masculine
at all.
About a carrot. Maybe it's just phallic. You might be onto something there. But then we have another one here down the pub.
A pint for the bloke and 2 fruit-based drinks for the ladies.
Exactly. Is that a glass of white wine with ice?
It's good. Well, yeah, indeed. If it's good enough for Al Murray, it's good enough for Man About the House.
Yeah, last one's easy.
I know we've got a couple left, haven't we?
Oh, here we go. This is a straightforward one.
So this is the bathroom shelf. We've got a shaving brush and we've got a bit of lippy. Men women. And what about the last one then? This is my favourite.
Oh, go on. Here we are. Hey.
Well, what we've got here is a hen and 2 cats.
Well, I think it might be a rooster and 2 what should I say? A cock and 2 pussies.
A cock and 2 pussies. That's what it is. Route 1. Produced and directed by Peter Fraser-Jones. Well done, sir.
I'm sure he's very proud of it himself.
Very good.
But yeah, that's a bit of a euphemism for you at the end.
Do you know what's funny about this? I didn't even notice this. Like, as the closing credits were playing, I must have zoned out. It was only when you pointed this out I went back. It's absolutely fantastic. That really loved it. All right, so we've finished our episode.
Can I, before we go sort of to the end of the show, can I have a quick word about George and Mildred and the actors? I don't want to go into a lot of detail, just because we will do George and Mildred at some point. But we can't just gloss over this without talking about Eutha Joyce and Brian Murphy. They are sitcom royalty in many ways.
Yeah.
But I won't go into a lot of detail. But Eutha Joyce, I mean, this was the big hit of her career. Yeah. She was a pretty well established actor, but in straight roles as well as comedy. And like, frankly, we talked about this before, that she's kind of coded ugly, or whatever that means. She's a character actor, but she was told early in her career, like, you're too ugly. Basically, you're not going to be playing those kind of young women roles. So it's no surprise that she kind of found bigger fame later in life.
I remember seeing her in an episode of Fen Street Gang.
Yeah, she was popping up in all things, and that's how you get noticed, isn't it? And then this was the big role.
Bluntly, she's got quite a distinctive, memorable face, hasn't she?
Yeah, and as she got, basically, I think what everyone knows about Eutha Joyce, she was a pretty hardcore alcoholic, and died quite young, which was why George and Mildred kind of ended when it did. But so by this point, you kind of see across the years, she gets thinner and thinner, pretty much, and more gaunt in the face. Although I will say, like, from what everyone says is that they didn't know. It did not affect her work at all, and they didn't even go, "Oh, she's a heavy drinker," but it doesn't affect her work. She was doing it in secret, which does also suggest she knew it was a problem. I want to show you a clip here that I happened to watch A Man for All Seasons, a classic film, Oscar-winning film, in fact. 1963, I believe, but Eutha Joyce popped up.
Paul Schofield.
That's right, yes. Eutha Joyce popped up in a little scene. So it's a young Eutha Joyce. I thought I'll share that with you. Here we go.
Thomas.
What's this?
From some grateful poor folk in Leicester.
Leicester?
You do more good than you know, Sir Thomas.
There you go. Nice little... she comes back later in the film with a little scene. But a nice little role there. Yeah, that's just an example of a young Eutha Joyce. Oh, there is, of course, another sitcom connection with Eutha Joyce.
Go on.
She was married to Glyn Edwards.
Oh, yes, of course. I didn't know that. Yeah. We saw
Glyn Edwards does turn up.
Glyn Edwards was a teacher at Fenn Street, wasn't he, in the third series when the cast changed?
Well, yes, he was, and much trouble he caused. And also, he was in an episode, in a few episodes of Man About the House, because he plays Chrissy's dad.
Oh, of course he does. Yes, of course he does. No, I've forgotten about that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so like I say, we'll deal with Eutha Joyce in the future at some point. But
Brian Murphy. I mean, at the time of recording, he's still going, isn't he? He's.
No, sorry to break the news to you live. Gareth, he died last year. Sorry about that.
Do you know what? I feel bad about that. I'm sorry about that, folks. But I just saw him last week. I've been watching Plebs, the Roman-based sitcom, and he's in an episode of that where he plays an old soldier who's raising money for charity. And he gets into an altercation with and kicks the shit out of Tom Rosenthal. It's very funny, but he must have been 90 when he was filming that. It's great.
Well, like I say, he died last year actually, and he was 92 then. But I saw him live. Well, it must be 2 years ago, and it was one of those sitcom events where they do a bit of Q&A, and Jeffrey Holland's always there, and he was talking. He was there with Linda Regan, who was in Heidi High, and she is his wife.
Widow.
And he was. I think I may have noted at some point on the show when talking about it how he was 90 then, and he was full of beans and very mentally kind of acutive as well. Like he was just chatting away these memories of old, and full of energy in a very kind of typical Brian Murphy way. So I think he died kind of fairly rapidly, but I guess that's what happens when you're 92.
Sure.
But a really long career in all sorts of things. This show, again, Man About the House, was the one that made him a household name. And, George and Mildred, the Ropers, they were supposed to be the landlords downstairs. They were the B plot. And they kind of, they realized just what a good thing they had, and they wrote them into it more and more. And apparently him and Eutha Joyce had worked together before, and they knew they had good chemistry. And, ultimately that developed into a spin-off.
George and Mildred.
They did create George and Mildred, and the concept being George and Mildred, they move to the suburbs, and they're kind of a little bit fish out of water there. And that's its own thing. And like I say, we won't get into it now, but just to quickly mention something else about Brian Murphy. He carried on working, and of course he did have a long stint in Last of the Summer Wine, which is sort of the sitcom retirement home of the 90s and 2000s. And he became a regular in that. And he was in Mrs. Merton and Malcolm, where they did the sitcom version of Mrs. Merton.
Again, I watched that not that long ago,
yeah, a couple other things. So he was working right up to the end. He was sort of a good old pro, never stopped.
Honestly, like that episode of Plebs, he's absolutely great in that. And that's probably, 10 years ago. But he's just one episode, but he absolutely steals the show. Terrific. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was how this plays out. We've talked about this will they, won't they, and how that plays out in the final series. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So as we get to the end of series 6, the writers decided to end the show, and didn't get cancelled unexpectedly or anything like that. They thought, right, that's enough, let's end it. Now, bear in mind, they already had George and Mildred. They knew they were going to kind of go on to that. Robin's Nest was presumably in the works. They moved on to other things. Like it wasn't exactly the end, but they thought, let's end this kind of incarnation of it. And I guess if you're doing young people in a flat, you don't want them getting too old, and then it kind of becomes weird and all that. So taking a very sensible choice to kind of bring it to an end. And they obviously decided to find a conclusion with it. So how do you conclude a will they, won't they? So what they choose to do, and it basically all happens over the last 3 episodes, and it's all a little bit rushed, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yes.
But Robin's brother comes round, has an instant rapport with Chrissy. They find love together, decide they're going to get married, and then episode 6 is the wedding.
Yes.
And so that's it. It's kind of Robin gets gazumped by his own brother, and finds peace with it. And he's kind of happy that they're happy. Ultimately, there's like I say, all gets a bit rushed. There's tension. He's not happy about it because, but ultimately, were he and Chrissy ever going to get together? So it's a bit rushed, but at least it's a nice closing. I don't particularly like Chrissy just goes, I'll get married and have kids. That'll be my life now.
No, I didn't like it at all. I think they should have ended up together. That would have worked out better if they'd have got married. I don't know, that's the cliche. But if you're going to finish it, that's how you finish it, surely.
Yeah, and I wonder if there was anything to do with they had plans to do Robin's Nest and they knew she wasn't going to do it and she decided not to do it. I have no idea if that's true or not, but they may have wanted to actually write that in. They certainly don't. But if they were going to do that, the obvious ending was to set that up with Robin finding his partner, but they don't do that. So I suspect that's not the case. I don't know, but there's a very interesting scene right at the end. I think you're talking about. They basically have a kiss. Robin and Chrissy, they kiss passionately, finally, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm going to go marry your brother now." Ta. It's actually after they're married. It's kind of the get together after the wedding. Well, let me show you how the scene plays out. It's a nice moment between the two of them.
Well, Chrissy, what can I say?
Well, it's happy occasion.
Not appropriate. So I thought now they're going to run off together.
They're still kissing.
I hate to break this up, but that's my Mrs. Tripp. And I'd like her with me on the honeymoon.
What the hell, man? That's weird.
It's a nice moment between the two of them, but yeah, it's a weird context to have it.
It's too late.
That she's just married his brother.
They should have done that before the wedding and run off together. That would have been the way to play that out.
And it's like the context here is, of course, that she's married. She's not just married someone else and like, okay, they're going to have to move on. And perhaps he'll look back in 20 years and remember these times. It's his brother. He's going to be living like he's going to be meeting every Christmas. Yeah.
Weird, man.
But
the older brother seems all right with that. Come on, guys. Come on.
Maybe he knows they need to get out of the system.
Down.
Well, do you know what as well? It throws up another issue for me, what I like to call the Norman Eshley problem.
Norman Eshley is the actor who plays the brother, right?
It is, yes. A very fine actor, nothing against him personally, but it's something we've talked about before. Were there only 7 actors in Britain in the 1970s?
Yeah. I know where you're going with this. He was in an early episode, wasn't he?
So they repeat the same actors, and I think that's all right if you do one scene here and then you do another scene 4 years later, whatever, right? However, Norman Eshley played a role in series 2 or something, and the whole concept of the character is Chrissy is seeing an older man, and like they go on about how he's 30 and like, oh my God, that's so old. And it's sort of played for laughs. He's got a mustache. And then, over the course of things, so one sees him with his, they find out he's married. And so she confronts him about that. And he's like, oh yeah, well, I technically am married, but we're separated. And so she makes peace with him. And then she basically finds out he's not separated, goes to his house and confronts him. There's a whole thing. But it's a significant guest role for that episode. Fine.
Yeah.
They then bring him back for this super important ending.
Yeah.
The fact that he's been in it before and then plays such an important character here at the end, it's not just another guest role. It's a really important character. And I don't quite like that. But I'll let that go. But here's
Alan,
the bigger problem.
Let me tell you how I experienced that. So when Norman Eshley turned up again as the brother, I'd got in the back of my head, I've seen him before, but I couldn't quite place where it was. But it did throw me out of it. I'm like, have we seen him before? Now, here's the problem. I'd seen the previous episode where he was the older man 5 days ago. Like, if you were watching that in real time in 1976, it would have been 3 years ago.
Exactly. And we don't have repeats in the same way. So I'm willing to accept that. However, Gareth, there is a bigger issue now. Because come to George and Mildred. George and Mildred moved to the suburbs. And the other regular characters are the nice middle-class neighbours who live next door. Husband, wife, young boy. The husband is played by Norman Eshley. He is a regular character. Look, I get you like the guy. He's a good actor. But you can't do that. It's too much of an important character in both shows.
Not in the Trip universe, no.
No, I'm not happy about it.
No, it's bad.
So
it's bad. It is confusing, and whilst it didn't, didn't mean I couldn't enjoy this program. It did. It put that thing in my head of like, oh, what's going on here? And you don't want that. You want to make it as simple as possible for people.
Yeah. So anyway,
all right,
I don't think that's right.
So that is how Man About the House plays out.
Yes.
Poor old Robin is left on the shelf, but don't despair. Robin's nest comes along and he finds a new partner and makes a new life, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We talked briefly about the American spin-off Three's Company. There were also spin-offs of George and Mildred and Robin's Nest as well, right?
Yes. So obviously the Man About the House has two sequels, so to speak, spin-offs. And so when they made the American version, they did the same spin-offs. And they only did that because it was successful. But it was successful in the same way. The ingredients are working in the same way. So I think that's
Have you watched only the American version?
So yes, I watched the first episode of Three's Company, which is the American equivalent of, and this was a huge show in America. This was a really massive success.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So what I've done here is I made a little comparison. Basically, I've got the British clip and then the American clip from. It's the same script of episode 1. Now I couldn't. I only found there's some dodgy version of this online, so it's slightly poor quality, but I think it'll work. But here, first of all, we're going to see the girls acting, and let's see how they compare. So this is the first episode, the reveal, Robin in the bath.
There's been a party, then he's still there.
There's a man in the bath! A what? A man! A fella asleep in the bath!
That's a lot funny, isn't it?
Oh, yes! Is he one of yours? Hang on. No, never seen him before.
So now here's the American version.
Maybe there was something wrong with the gin, or the tequila, or the whiskey, or the rum, or the vodka, or the... There's a man in there!
Comedy double take.
A what? A guy, asleep in the bathtub. Huh. See? Yeah. Is he a friend of yours?
No. I never saw him before.
There's a different line there. Is he a friend of yours rather than is he one of yours? That's a crucial difference, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the comedy reaction there. The quadruple take, I think it was that we saw. So now, but let's do an example as well. Comparison of Robin. It's not the same character name, but it's John Ritter who played him. Who was, this was I think was his big success, but went on to other things. Yeah. Also died very young. But I think he does a lot better in terms of comparison. But let's have a look. And we're also going to get an example here of Richard O'Sullivan's physical stuff. It's lovely, this thing. Let's have a look.
That's good stuff, man. Good Luther work.
Good evening.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Thames, is it really? Trip. Robin Trip.
Ouch. Commitment. Okay, let's see John Ritter doing the same thing. The loofah's there, you just got to grab it. No loofah work. Terrible.
Good evening.
Good morning.
Good Lord, is it morning?
Yes, yes it is. And if you don't mind a stupid question, who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Jack. Jack Tripper.
So there you go. There's a direct comparison for you. I think
it's all right.
The show was a huge success, so obviously it's a bit more American. It ran for many more episodes, obviously,
of course
in America.
Syndicated.
So there we go. Yeah.
That's great. Well, look, I guess we finished Man About the House, or at least we finished the television version of it. What we're going to do next week is look at the film. Do you want to just give us a very brief intro to the film?
It was made kind of halfway through the show, and it is. But it's a good example in terms of it's original material and in the way those films are, but it totally holds within the continuity. And it has all the usual actors, but it's all filmed on location and things like that. Yeah. So it's going to be a bit of fun. We'll cover that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So we will revisit that. We will revisit our characters next week. But I hope you've enjoyed our look at Man About the House.
Oh, Gareth, if you want, can I give you a little bonus clip?
Oh, go on then.
Let's end with this before we do our sign off. I'll just throw it in there, and I just want to bear in mind that this is a couple of years before Porridge came out, so just bear that in mind, okay?
Now I shall need a sample from you. Can you fill this?
Well, not from here, no.
Hey! That's a great line.
It's a classic Porridge gag.
It was great when Norman Stanley Fletcher delivered it as well.
Yeah. So apparently that gag's like an old school gag. It's a bit of variations of it, like way back to Music Hall, So there we go. It jumped out at me as I'm a big Porridge fan.
Well, thanks for sharing that. That's great. Okay, well, look, thanks everyone. You can see us, you can find us on the social medias. We are on Instagram at Britcom Pod, and we're on Facebook. If you just search for British Sitcom History Podcast, you'll find us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for the film.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.